when you live life from inside the vortex, you're living life as you intended. Because you are a powerful creator who said, I'll go forth, I'll choose from the buffet, I'll identify what I want, and I'll line up with it. And I'll do it again and again and again and again, because lining up with who I am is the zest of life that I've always been looking for. You think it's the manifestations, and we want you to have manifestations. We're not trying to talk you out of the glitter or glitz or beauty or anything that you want. We want you to have the manifestations. But we are here to tell you, you didn't sign on for the manifestations. You signed on for the movement toward what you want. You signed on for this 3-step process. You signed on for the choosing from the buffet, for the launching of the rockets, and for the exhilaration of lining up with who you really are. Coming home, coming home, coming home. So, we're eager to talk with you about anything you want to talk about. We don't want to have talked you out of any subject, because all subjects are appropriate. We want you to know that our role, if it is to be an advantage to you, is to stand here inside your vortex, firmly, clearly, knowing who you really are. And as we visit with you collectively, as we've been doing already here, or individually, as we choose you to come to the hot seat, it is our desire to offer insight and vibrational pathways to make it easier for you, easier for you, easier for you, easier for you to come into vibrational alignment with who you are. We want you to put the word ease, easy, in one of your good piles. Because there are a lot of people who believe that ease means lazy. And we want you to know that ease means leverage. Ease means alignment. Ease means lining up with the power and the energy and the resources of who you are. Now, there are a lot of people, in fact, most everybody you know, spends most of their time outside the vortex. They don't know about vibration. They don't know what their emotions mean. They want to be positive, and they try. They make some effort to be, but they're not really managing their vibrational flow very well. So most people are outside the vortex most of the time. And then they gather together in groups, on the internet, or just in neighborhoods. Law of attraction sort of brings them in their similarities together. And they come up with conclusions about how they and everybody else should live life. Laws are made from that group. In other words, they are the ones that decide. They sort out the good piles from the bad piles, and they decide what's the right way of life and what's the wrong way of life. And we will acknowledge that among those outside the vortex efforters, that it is evident when someone is trying and when someone isn't. They have diplomas. They have better paying jobs in many cases. They live in nicer houses in many cases. You can tell which ones are trying and which ones aren't in that out of the vortex group. But friends, it's the out of the vortex group. It's like being king of the molehill. It's the out of the vortex group. In other words, the masters come from in the vortex. Your clarity, your inspiration, your creations, your inventions, your wonderful new ideas, your zest for life comes from the inside the vortex group, you see. So we're not wanting to make you feel bad when you're out of the vortex, because certainly it adds to the step one experience. We just want you to get this into perspective and realize that next time you find yourself really digging in and trying hard, that you're working against yourself. And you might want to just chill for a while and remember who you are. Maybe listen to some meditation. Maybe count your breathing. Maybe get in sync with some music. Maybe bask a little. Maybe do something that is pleasing. Maybe do anything or everything that you can think of to release the tension that is holding you outside the vortex. And it is our promise to you that once you are aware of the existence of this vortex, and once you are aware of your guidance system, which lets you know where you are in proximity to it, And once your mantra, once your motto, once what really matters to you is, today, no matter where I'm going, no matter what I'm doing, no matter who I'm doing it with, it is my dominant intent to look for what I'm wanting to see. I'm agreeably oriented. I am appreciatively oriented. I comment on things that I appreciate. And when I feel an impulse to criticize, I sit on it. I don't go with it. I don't make more of it. I don't amplify it with words. I don't amplify it with groups. I don't comment on it. I no longer am trying, efforting myself into a better place. I'm practicing the art of allowing. Because I've now discovered that my inner being is in my vortex and calling me home, calling me toward all that I've become. And if I am even hanging around in the vicinity of hopefulness, my vortex calls me in on a really regular basis. And once you start living more of your life from inside the vortex, you'll have more insight. You'll have better timing. You'll feel better. Your sense of humor will be keener. Your sense of intelligence will be keener. You'll think of things, those to-do lists. You won't have to drag them around. You'll be at the grocery store and you'll remember what you want. You'll be moving through life and the right thing at the right time will occur to you. You'll be tuned in, tapped in, not to a memory bank, not to a to-do list in your head, but you'll be tapped into the vibrational equivalent of all that you have become. Who knows who you really are in relationship to who and where you are at all times, in all moments of all days. Talk about a concierge. Talk about an impulse giver. It's like walking through life with somebody who not only knows who you are, but loves who you are, who is constantly hinting and opening doors and orchestrating circumstances and events in order to allow you to be all that you can be. Hesitating just at the right moment so that you're not in the elevator with that person, but you are in the elevator with that person. Finding yourself hesitating in traffic just right so that it opens for you so that you can make your lane shift. In other words, there are so many things that many of you might call inconsequential or insignificant that just make the flow of life so remarkable. Do you like being deliberate creator? Are you on the verge, or have you moved into the understanding that this is a vibrational universe in which you live? Do you accept that through the directing of your thoughts that you focus the energy, that that's how you create? Does it please you to know that knowing what you don't want helps the process? So, does it make you want to be a little more patient with yourself in the interim before things manifest? Are you approaching the willingness to want to go to the vortex for the feeling of it rather than for the manifestation of it? Because once you get there, once you say, my vortex is my objective because there I am whole and therefore feeling good, and then I will focus specifically. Now you are really a powerful, deliberate creator. And here's why. People often think that it is the setting of the goals that is the creative work. Well, the creative work happens when you're in the middle of a relationship that's no fun. That's when you put more fun. The creative work is when you're sifting through what you don't want, knowing what you do want. In other words, the creative work is the sifting, sorting process. That's the creative work. You've done it, 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 you've done it. The creative work is there. Then people think, oh, I have to get really specific about this thing that I want. But when they're really specific, when they don't have it, what do? They hold themselves away from it. You follow that, don't you? We've been talking about that all morning. So when they're not in the vortex and they're really specific about what they want, I want this person to be this tall and have this much money and have this color of eyes and to call me this and to do these things and to have this agenda and to have this heart. When you're saying all of those things and you're not in the vortex, but you're being specific because you think you're supposed to be specific, because that surely must be what deliberate creating is, you just hold yourself out there, having more experiences you don't want, more experiences that you don't want. Too specific. But then you get general. You quiet your mind. You bask more. You have a massage. You put your feet in the water. You pet your cat. You listen to the meditation CD. You listen to music. You do more of those things that ratchets the specifics down. So you're more general. And then you flow right into the first lock of the vortex canal. And now, when you think about what you want, you do it because it feels good to think about what you want, not because you're trying to be specific in order to make things happen. Can you hear the difference? Now you're talking about it because it feels good. Now you're talking about it because you can't stand not to talk about it. Now you're talking about it because it's who you are and it's what's showing itself to you. Now you are going with the flow of it. Are you following what we're getting at? This is such an important distinction. You want to get into the vortex and then be specific. So the rule of thumb has always been, be as specific as you can be and still feel good. And when you're not in the vortex, you can't be specific at all and feel good. But once you get into the vortex, that's when you want to start talking about it. Jerry and Esther will get into a moment in time where they're feeling so good, where something that has happened is feeling so good, and they will just milk it and milk it and milk it and milk it. Anybody listening in would think they had lost their minds, because it feels so good to just keep reiterating over and over and over again how much I love you and how good life is and how fun this is, and wasn't that good, and did you hear what she said, and did you see the look on her face when she said it, and did you see the look in his eyes when he heard it, and did you see how we all laughed when we did it, and do you remember what it was like when we were floating on that river, and do you remember the river guide and how clever he was, and brought us right up to the edge, and I climbed right out on the boat, and the sloth was hanging right down in a branch, and I looked at him and he looked at me, and he moved his head and he moved his arms so slowly as if to say, I love you too. Jerry and Esther have had that conversation 15 or 20 times since they had their up close and personal relationship with the sloth on the Amazon River in Costa Rica. In other words, they just keep milking it and milking it and milking it and milking. Eric was the man who was driving the boat. He would say, can you see that crocodile? What crocodile? He would put his laser beam on it and he would shine a light right on the eye of the crocodile. And then the crocodile would look at them and they would look at it, and it would look at them and they would look at it. Just milking, milking, milking magnificent moments. You see what we're getting at? Do all of your offering of consistency and of focusing once you're sure you're in the vortex, and watch the power and the leverage of the energy that creates worlds help you manifest anything that you want endlessly, eternally. A while back, we wrote a wonderful book called Money and the Law of Attraction. Many people were eager to know how to put money into the equation. And from that, Jerry chose 60 predominant statements, our favorites and his. And we think that this 60-card deck of affirmation cards represents the best vibrational latitude that anyone could achieve for the allowing of well-being on all fronts, not just financial, to flow into your experience. But we also know that when you're standing fixated on the problem of not enough money, that these cards are as much a curse as a blessing. Because when you affirm what you want, when you're feeling strong absence of it, you just get defensive, don't you? I can earn money by doing what I love to do. Right. The story I tell is the basis of my life. That's not good news. My every story is attracting its vibrational match. Oh, kill me now. I can see my world through the eyes of Source. My Source must be blind. My attention to unwanted attracts more unwanted. Damn. When you are standing in a place of not feeling good, not having what you want, not seeing the evidence of the prosperity that you want, and from that place of real fear or deep frustration or even anger, you make an effort to get it right. Your effort backfires because you're efforting against resistance. In other words, law of attraction doesn't effort against resistance. Law of attraction waits until you're a cooperative component and then just draws you with the other cooperative components, you see. So Why would we so